Just ahead on CTV News.
In just one day, new laws will go into effect statewide. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have everything you need to know coming up on CTV News.
Plus, a new mural in the county takes a stand against gun violence.
We had our own little vibe on what it meant to have an anti-gun violence mural, which is a very meta concept. It's one thing to be anti-gun violence, but what does that look like as an image?
And
one Fort Washington woman has a story of overcoming obstacles. I'm Jonathan Hunter. I have details on how she started a successful fragrance business coming up.
Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, this is CTV News for September 30th. I'm Michaela Newton.
And I'm Anaya Falcon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, both Democrats and Republicans are racing against the clock to beat the midnight deadline to avoid a government shutdown. If they can't, the shutdown is set to begin October 1st, a blow that would hit Maryland especially hard due to its close ties to Washington.
And more than 100,000 federal workers, including many from Maryland, are set to leave their jobs under a deferred resignation plan, raising the risk of a government shutdown. According to the Comptroller's office, with more than 260,000 federal employees living in Maryland, the state could lose millions in tax revenue every 2 weeks if paychecks stop.
Well, during the last legislative session of the Maryland General Assembly, state lawmakers passed 430 new laws.
That's right, and tomorrow those laws will go into effect. CTV's Katara Jones is standing by with everything you need to know.
Beginning tomorrow, hundreds of new laws will go into effect here in Maryland. So let's break down everything you need to know. Drivers caught speeding in Maryland will get hit with higher penalties. This is a part of the state's new tiered system for fines issued by speed cameras. For example, if a speed camera captures a driver going 12 to 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, they will now have to pay a $40 fine. Drivers caught speeding 30 to 39 miles per hour over the speed limit, they will now have to pay a $230 fine. Some of the citations could reach up to $425. Another law that will go into effect is known as Eric's ID law, which will give Marylanders with intellectual and developmental disabilities an opportunity to add a butterfly symbol to their driver's license or state ID. This will let first responders know that a cardholder has a disability that isn't immediately visible. Also, what will go into effect on October 1st is the Second Look Act, which will require the Maryland Parole Commission to consider an incarcerated person's age when deciding to grant parole. Landlords and tenants, listen up. Landlords will now be required to provide a tenant with written notice of at least 24 hours in advance when the landlord plans to enter the leased premises, except in cases of an emergency. These are just some of the new laws that will go into effect on October 1st. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Thanks, Katara. Another law that will go into effect on October 1st is a law that will lower the penalties for the use of possession and delivery or sale of drug paraphernalia to 1 year in imprisonment and a $1,000 fine. And a Greenbelt man is in custody and being charged with assaulting federal enforcement officers. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Maryland filed a criminal complaint against 23-year-old Amir Wilson on Friday. According to the news release on September 24th, Wilson drove his vehicle through the checkpoint at the National Security Agency campus in Fort Meade. He then struck two marked NSA vehicles, injured one officer, and hitting a retaining wall. Wilson is scheduled to appear for a detention hearing tomorrow at 10 a.m. And a small Prince George's County town unveils a new roadway mural, and that has a big message behind it. This is the new roadway mural located near the 3600 block of 38th Avenue in Colmar Manor. The town partnered with the group Operation Arts Foundation to create this artwork known as the Streets of Solidarity Road mural. Through the project, the organization worked with 10 artists and 3 designers to develop the colorful mural that would inspire cultural unity while also taking a stand to end gun violence. Organizers say it took 6 months to get the mural completed.
We really try to capture all of the essence of, like, you know, the poppies stand for the veterans, and then we have the Black Eyed Susans for Maryland. There's actually 3 men on horses who have guns. So all the people who have lost their lives, the shadows in the background is that silhouette of all the people to honor their lives.
It's a gorgeous mural. It's located right next to the dueling grounds. So if people aren't aware of what the dueling grounds are, back when dueling was outlawed in DC, people would come here to the border of DC, Maryland to duel. And when we were thinking about what type of mural we would want and where we would place the mural, this just seemed like an obvious fit.
And town officials say Colmar Manor received an $81,000 grant from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for this project. The remaining funds for the grant will be used to put up light fixtures along the path of the mural in the coming months.
And big news coming out of the governor's office. Governor Wes Moore announced plans to close Maryland Correctional Institution at Jessup. The facility, known as MCIJ, is located in Anne Arundel County. According to the governor's office, the decision to close the facility by June 30th of next year will enable roughly $21 million per year in operational cost savings for Maryland taxpayers. Additionally, it will help the Maryland Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services expand access to programming in education, vocational training, and reentry services for incarcerated individuals.
And Attorney General Anthony Brown has joined a coalition of 20 attorneys general addressing concerns over a U.S. FDA review of mifepristone, the prescription medication used to end an early pregnancy for more than 25 years. The review, referenced by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., calls for restriction on or withdrawal of mifepristone from the market. The attorneys general released a statement yesterday saying, quote, medical decisions should be left between patients, their families, and their providers, and they should be guided by science, not political agendas. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Anaya Falcon.
And I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, do you remember the 2021 Scripps National Spelling Bee winner?
Well, she's now making her mark as a freshman at UMD. I sat down with the champion and have those details for you after the break. Stay with us.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Welcome back. When you travel to Fort Washington, you'll meet one woman who has a remarkable story of overcoming obstacles.
That's right. She suffered several tragedies while serving in the Army, turning her pain into purpose, and is now running a successful fragrance business. CTV's Jonathan Hunter introduces us to our Person of the Week.
For more than 3 decades, Cherie Bryant served her country with distinction. She started off in the Army Reserves before doing active duty.
My enlisted time was really great. I was able to travel to Europe. We took weekend trips all over Europe between London, Switzerland, Hungary, Spain, Italy. That was really fun. It was my first time out the country.
But her time in the military wasn't all smooth sailing. She was sexually assaulted. Plus, a fellow soldier did something that haunts Bryant to this day.
He saluted me. I did a left face, took about 3 or 4 steps, and he committed suicide.
What she experienced took a toll on her emotionally.
During COVID, the PTSD was like a real struggle because you was actually alone a lot. And it was the first time that you ever saw the military working from home.
And it was in 2021 when Bryant was taking an online fragrance class during the pandemic when the idea of starting a business popped into her head.
And I talked to my therapist about it, and she was like, Cherie, take that energy that you have and put it into a business.
So, in 2021, Black Essence was formed. She has several fragrances and products to choose from. You can purchase her products by going to the House of Ravo in Baltimore or going online.
And now my customer base runs from Georgia all the way to Rhode Island, up into New York. I have customers out in Texas, Arkansas. So I'm just like really happy that it's actually flourishing.
Her advice to other veterans who are struggling: seek help and find what you're passionate about.
And if it's a passion and it's something that you like to enjoy, make it into a hobby, and then take that hobby and turn it into a business.
In Fort Washington, Jonathan Hunter, CTV News.
All right, for more information on the fragrances, you can go to blackessence.com.
And the Prince George's 2021 Scripps National Spelling Bee champion is still winning big. I had the chance to sit down with Zalia Avant-Garde, and we talked about her present challenges and triumphs as an author and as a student at the University of Maryland.
Maria, M-U-R-R-A-Y-A.
That is correct. That was in 2021 when Zaila Avant-Garde won the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
So the first emotion I felt was relief. You definitely, after studying so much and for so long, for 2 years, I was very relieved that I got the best possible outcome.
She says she also felt a sense of pride and joy, but the historic moment was bittersweet.
It's sweet because I'm the first African American to win in the now 100-year history of the spelling bee, but also I'm the first African American to win in the now 100-year history of the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
It's been 4 years since her spelling bee win, and 4 years since she set her 4th Guinness World Record. Now, Avant-Garde is a freshman at the University of Maryland on a full scholarship. Wins that she says boost her self-confidence for her college journey ahead.
If I could beat out 11 million other kids to win one singular, Scripps National Spelling Bee, right, then I can probably ace my midterms, probably, So I think it's giving me like a certain base level of confidence knowing that I can do hard things.
Hard things like balancing late classes, studying, social life, and writing books. Avant-Garde is working on her 6th book right now, and one of them is a New York Times bestseller.
Time management, it's a buzzword, that we hear a lot, and we probably roll our eyes a little bit when we hear the word. However, it is a real thing, just learning how to have set boundaries and set time in which you will work on specific things. It works. It's amazing.
She hopes she can empower people, especially children, to learn and to know that anything is possible.
People will try to tell you, oh, you can't do that. You're a girl. You can't play basketball. You're this. Who's ever done that before? But the lesson that I want people to take away from is that you can be living in, the Appalachian Mountains and decide, you know what? I want to be a rugby player, and you can do it with the right mixture of hard work and luck. It is possible.
Oh, I just love her. Growing up, Avant-Garde was homeschooled, and while preparing for the spelling bee, she studied 13,000 words for 7 hours each day, helping her master 99% of the dictionary. She says she's thinking about pursuing another Guinness World Record in the near future.
I love how she's just walking around the campus like she's normal.
Yes.
She has so many different
Genius.
talents.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was so inspiring to meet her. I was even taking some tips from her, making sure to get my book game up and maybe even my juggling too.
I know, right? She's so cool. Awesome story. Awesome story.
Yes.
All right, well, check your freezers. The Hillshire Brands Company is recalling approximately 58 million pounds of corn dog and sausage on a stick products that may be contained with wood embedded in the batter. The problem was discovered after the establishment received multiple consumer complaints, 5 of which involved injuries. The company conducted an investigation and determined that the wooden sticks entered the production process prior to product battering. Now, for the full list of affected products, visit the website right there on your screen. And still to come on CTV News, you may have heard the rumors of how Tylenol may be linked to autism.
Yes, and to help you clear things up, we have Dr. Hack coming back in the studio with everything you need to know. Stay with us.
We are women first. but women with disabilities last.
During a military exercise, we crashed and I broke my neck.
When I was in the Air Force, an accident changed my life. I couldn't have imagined the injustices I would face.
Every day, women like me go to the doctor for annual checkups for conditions like breast cancer. Early detection saved my life. But women with disabilities face a cruel reality: inaccessible medical facilities and equipment.
In the 25 years since my injury, I have not seen a gynecologist. There's not one accessible OBGYN in my community.
I found lumps in my breast. I went to a doctor's office I was told was accessible, but when I got there, I couldn't get through the front door.
I don't know where I'd be today without access to testing. Our veterans deserve better. Help PVA fight for access at pva.org.
If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden. I would watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough.
It's so hard to predict a sick kid who just keep getting sicker, but we needed to be together as a family. My family is my entire life. My family means the world to me.
When we're together and we have support from Ronald McDonald House, we can be a little stronger. They provide food and a place to rest your head, and they will help you through every step. That's what gets you through every day when you don't know how else you're gonna make it.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good.
Welcome back. Last week, President Trump claimed that acetaminophen, the main ingredient in Tylenol when taken by pregnant women, particularly in late pregnancy, is linked to autism.
And despite expert warnings, no publicly released study shows Tylenol as a direct cause of the disorder. Returning today to discuss this hot-button issue is Dr. Stephanie Hack. Dr. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, break it down for us. What is Tylenol? What are some of the things that Tylenol helps with, and why do pregnant women normally go for it? I know it's only maybe the one thing that you can take when you're pregnant or nursing.
It's like the one medication that we feel safe and comfortable giving pregnant women for fever, for pain. Tylenol, if you have a muscle ache, if you have a cold, all of these things are reasons that we might potentially recommend you take Tylenol.
And why is Tylenol the one thing that, or just the most thing that doctors actually trust other than the other pain medications that you can take during pregnancy?
Sure, it has the best safety record. So there are other medications that we know that can help with fever and pain, like ibuprofen or Motrin, aspirin. Those are NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, but those have other effects and things that we know, the complications that they can cause in pregnancy, especially later in pregnancy. And those are things that we really want to avoid. And so Tylenol has the best safety profile during pregnancy.
And what are some of the things that research actually tells us about Tylenol and child development?
That's excellent. I think the best thing is what research doesn't tell us. And research does not show that there is a cause. It does not show that Tylenol causes autism. Now, there have been, as was mentioned before, some associations with autism, but again, association and causation are not the same thing.
Gotcha. So let's talk a little bit about what President Donald Trump, went on record to say. Is there any truth to it? What can you tell us?
Sure. So some studies have shown an association, other studies have shown no association, and even other studies have shown it to be protective almost. So we see a lot of different information being presented, but when all of them come together, the one thing that everybody points out is we need more research. What we have now is not enough to tell us that there's a cause.
And I'm a mom myself, and I know that there are some moms out there that may feel scared hearing all these headlines. So how should they balance facts and fears?
Sure, it is scary, and it's a lot of information to sort through. But I think the main thing to remember is that Tylenol is still considered safe in pregnancy. And then for that balance, always talking with your OBGYN, talking with your midwife will give you a sense of relief. And again, as far as social media is concerned, you want to have the conversation with your expert healthcare provider.
Gotcha. Now, are there any natural or non-medicine options that pregnant women can try before taking Tylenol?
Of course, especially for things like pain, you can try rest and relaxation. For muscle aches and pains, you can try massage or like cold compresses. But even when you do all of those things, for example, like with a fever, you still may need medication to bring that fever down.
And what kind of advice would you give to pregnant women about finding trustworthy information on this topic?
Sure. I would always say, again, start with your OBGYN, start with your midwife. That's where the conversation should begin. Take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. You always have to confirm, and you really want to go to the experts. And again, trusted medical groups like ACOG, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, give great guidance.
Gotcha. Now, is there a safe amount of time or a time limit that you can go with while taking Tylenol while pregnant?
Sure. Again, I think it's the same kind of recommendation that we give for any medication that you take. You want to take the smallest amount for the shortest period of time, and that's the good rule of thumb.
And will Tylenol have a different effect on babies that are being nursed?
No, it's the same. It's still, the safety profile is still considered the same.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. We really appreciate this information.
You're welcome.
And for more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, we want you to visit ladypartsdoctor.com.
All right, don't go anywhere just yet. It's time for our Tuesday sports page.
Yes, that's right. And what's going on today, Simon?
What's up, everybody? I've got a great sports page in store for you today as the University of Maryland unveiled their new basketball performance center. Find out what the new home of Terps basketball looks like after the break. Stay tuned.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life, and you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Type 2, take 2.
Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself, to look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Standing for the cause of liberty is as old as our country itself.
It is the American story, a story of fallible people, united across the generations by grand and enduring ideals.
The time has come to reaffirm our enduring spirit, to carry forward that promise that all are equal and all deserve a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness.
All right, everybody, your Tuesday sports page is here. Now, there are big things going on over at the University of Maryland, from a new athletic director to now a new basketball performance center. And earlier today, I was able to catch a glimpse of it, and it's amazing, y'all. I'm telling you. The center includes a state-of-the-art court, weight room, and locker rooms as well, and a new lounge area for the women's team. I caught up with Terps players David Coit and Sailor Poffenbarger, as well as head coach Brenda Fries during the media tour, and they all touched on how much having this building means to them.
Here, you definitely feel more inspired, understanding that a lot of people came before you, and a lot of people hard work, money, time, and energy, blood, sweat, tears came into building something that they're giving to you. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that it's a luxury, knowing that you have a blessing in front of you, and every day that you walk in, you're walking in a blessing and somebody's hard work, and a lot of people's hard work, I think is definitely inspiring.
I feel, again, like it's a kid at Christmas or I'm in a candy store, because there's just so many great things in this facility to be able to enjoy every single day.
Yes, I have been to 2 other programs with practice facilities, and this is definitely the best one. I think just the attention to detail, they really took their time with this, and I think it shows a lot about the program. It shows a lot about, like, they didn't leave a detail out. You know, you walk down the hallway and it's like all our professionals, and you walk into our locker room and just everything about it is just so sleek. And I think just being able to have it and, like, you know, break it in, we're super grateful. We're all super excited.
Meanwhile, the Terps football team is coming off of a break in their schedule as the team had their bye last week. Now, a bye week can be very beneficial for a team as they are able to brush up on various aspects of the game, and players are able to recover from injury. And head coach Mike Loxley and company placed a huge emphasis on honing their craft during the period.
Bye week was really productive for us. We were able to get some guys back that were injured. We spent time trying to target one area to get better for each of our players, and each coach, we call it writing a prescription, wrote a prescription to our players to say, here's one thing after the first 4 games that if you improve at this skill, it'll help our team, it'll help us elevate. And so we were able to focus on the fundamental parts of the game of our players during the bye week.
I've been trying to work on my pass rushing ability, going to get after that quarterback and get him on the ground. So it's just been something specific that I had in myself. I got to work on my pad level. I want to work on my pad level, my striking ability, and the point of attack. I want to get the man knocked back off the line of scrimmage and be able to go make a play. And the prescription cards were so good because it's not going to write something that you are incapable of doing. It's something that you've been doing, and then now how you can stack on top of it.
Maryland's first opponent off of their bye week will be Washington on Saturday. Kickoff is at 3:30. And wrapping up sports, there will be some high school flag football action today as Wise look to remain undefeated in their game against Suitland. Duval will try to get their first win of the season against Flowers. And finally, Eleanor Roosevelt will face off against Laurel. And that wraps up your Tuesdays. Simon Butler.
Thanks so much, Simon. Now let's get a look at your 3-day weather forecast. Tonight it'll be mostly cloudy with a low of 60. And for the next 3 days, we have a bright and sunny sky headed our way. Wednesday, we have a high of 71, and Thursday, a high of 69, and Friday, a high of 70.
And for our community calendar, tomorrow is Walk Maryland Day, and Prince George's has 2 community walks for you to enjoy. The first will be at Ridgely Rosenwald School from 12 to 1 p.m., the second at Tucker Road Athletic Complex from 4 to 6 p.m., and both events are free and open to the public. For more information, email the email address on your screen.
And that's a wrap for CTV News for now. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
If love were a threshold, we could cross every ocean to understand whale song and coral, crab and plankton. If love were strawberries and wheat, we could shape it into a sweetheart dessert, passing our lips as if we had only tasted earth once. And if love were hanging from the branches of the pine and palm, acacia and fir, we could be indivisible from the tiger, the turtle, the bison and birds. If only our love were larger than wildfire and faster to take root. If only our love were more swift than the eye of the hurricane and strong enough to break storm surge. Here is the boldness of our love in one hand, our strength against what we might lose in the other. Can we love more? Yes, yes, yes.